everyone. Welcome to the Stock Market Morning Prep video for Friday, February 27th, last trading day of the month. We have non-farm payrolls that are coming out due at 8:30 Eastern Time, and that should be a market mover. At least I'm hoping that this can push this market out of this range that we've been in pretty much most of February. It's been very dull, very quiet trading. I've heard people say there's volatility, and I don't see it. There's no volatility here. Volatility has actually collapsed. If you looked at the average true range on the S&P, it's actually been going down since the first week of February. So, but again, nonetheless, there's no volatility. Markets are in ranges. You look to buy them, you get long, you get stopped out. You want to try to short them, they just rip them right back up again. So, not a good trading environment. So I keep saying, let's trade the best setups possible that's according to your trading plan. Quick rundown of the numbers. Dow Jones down 10, Nasdaq up 20 basically from Apple, S&P down 3, Russell up 4. So the markets are all over the map. There's really no direction here. It looks like to me that the markets want to go higher. However, there's no buying pressure. So when the markets do start ticking higher, all of a sudden out of the blue, there's a sell program or a big seller that comes into the index and starts hitting it again. So very unusual trading. Maybe this non-farm payroll number that comes out today will help us to break out of this range. It's been very quiet, and like I said, very slow trading. And that's what we have to do, is sit on our hands as professional traders. You need to understand what the environment you're trading in, and then you need to adapt to it until we get a better trading scenario. Okay, so let's look at a couple of indicators. I just wanted to show this to you. I mentioned yesterday the McClellan oscillator, very reliable indicator of overbought, oversold readings. You could see here we have gone absolutely nowhere. All of February we have gone nowhere. You could see this. We're basically flat. Here are the Bollinger Bands. The Bollinger Bands are starting to pinch. Look at what happened here. We broke down, and then we ran up to the upside. Okay, if you look at every time when we have contraction in the Bollinger Bands, we break either up and or down, right? So it doesn't matter. Contraction, we just broke up this time. Contraction, we broke down this time, okay? And this is what's happening again. It does not pick a direction, but once it does break out either to the upside or downside, it usually has a 2 or 3 or even a week's worth of movement until it becomes overbought or oversold. Okay, so this is interesting. Watch what this does. Maybe we get some fireworks today. I mean, we really could use it. Now let's take a look at the other charts. Let's take a look at the NDX, stocks above the 50-day moving average, and the NASDAQ. Again, back at sell areas. We're in these 80 percentile, 75, 80%, where we usually get a market sell-off. Okay, now we have the SPX. Lower lows, lower highs, as a matter of fact, in this indicator. The stock's above the 50-day moving average. And we have areas here, not so quite overbought in the NASDAQ, but still 75, 78, 80. These are overbought areas where we look for a sell-off. You can see here, here, here. And you can just take a look and peruse at your leisure, but stop the video. You'll see this is an area where I'm looking for at least a little bit of a pullback. I mean, we've been up for 11, 12 trading days. Pretty much most of February we've been actually up. Not saying that we're going to crash, not even close. And I don't even see a pullback, to be quite honest with you. But a pullback can happen at any given moment. This could happen today based on what the non-farm payroll numbers come out. It depends on what the market participants, how they digest the number, right? It's not the number, it's how they react to the number, and that's what we're going to be looking for this morning. Take a look at spiders, and this is what I want to show you. And I showed this to you a few times. I just want to show you this is where you should be determining how you're going to set your trading day, right? If you look at here, range, and I didn't even put the rest of it, but the rest of pretty much most of February is all in ranges. We either pop up 1, 2 candles and go in a range and then pop up again, and that's what's been happening. But we sit there and just chop around all day. And this is all 3 days. This is all this week. Just you could see, at the end of the day, we popped up, and then we just continue to just go bounce back and forth here. So this is all week, and this has been happening all month. So you need to determine, we'll have inside days, so we want to look at how to attack the markets for that trading day, right? So you mark your areas where you want, and if we get an outside movement, outside day here or below, then you're going to have new order flow, whether it be to the downside or to the upside. And that's what you want to pay attention to. So believe it or not, the daily charts are a little skewed. If somebody looks at a daily chart and says, wow, we've been breaking out. Not necessarily. We have one of these days. Boom, at the end of the day, we pop up, make a new high. Not so much the last 2 days, but that's what's been happening. So if you look at the daily chart, you'll see, wow, look at this. But really, we've been doing nothing. And this is a perfect example. The last Friday, we pop up, and then we pretty much stayed in a range. Look at the week before that. We popped up here. We stayed in a range. Look at the week before this. We've been in a range all week. We popped up here. So for the last 3 weeks, going into this week, we've done nothing. We've had 1, 2, 3 days. So the first week of February was great. Then we went sideways the second week. We popped up one day. We went sideways the third week. And then we went sideways again. So there's no movement in the markets, and the markets are the culprits for trading systems, traders that are getting chopped up. So you have to understand what the markets are doing here, and you have to just take a step back and say, listen, I'm going to have to wait it out until we get movement again. Really, it's no other way of really looking at this. Transports here, a little nerve-wracking if you're a bull. I mean, we did break the lower lows, lower highs, so we did break that bearish symmetry, but we really haven't gone anywhere. And you can see we're just kind of bouncing up and down here. So we need to keep an eye on that. And obviously that leader, the transports, are really going to need to move. IWM, another one of our leaders. But again, you had 4 days up, 1 day up. 4 days sideways, 1 day up, another 4 days sideways, and yesterday we just happened to pop up about 4 points, which is really not much of anything. But again, look at the move we've had here. Do you really want to keep buying the Russell up at these areas, unless you get a decent pullback in the during the course of the trading day? Okay, diamonds, same thing. Look at the little candles. Look at the dojis. We've gone nowhere. Indecision now. Indecision, if we break the low of the doji candle, 181, then it looks like, on a closing basis, then it looks like we might be pulling back. If we break the upside, then it looks like on a closing basis, then it looks like we'll be headed higher. Okay, but right now, just indecision. There's no market direction here. Okay, Qs, and lastly is the Qs, but you can see all based on Apple, heavily weighted in the Qs. So you got to take this with a grain of salt. Although it is good, it looks good, it's healthy that the Nasdaq is moving higher. That's technology. XLF has been doing okay. We haven't really broken up or tested that 25 level that I showed you yesterday and earlier this week. So let's see what happens today. It's going to be very interesting, and I think that could set some really good trading going into March. All right, but again, no one knows until it happens. So listen, have a great weekend. Enjoy the weekend, and be careful trading today. Use your stops. Remember, your stops are your best friend, and cash is a position. When in doubt, have a great day.